Chapter 24. Learning is not the accumulation of knowledge, but rather one thing only, understanding. Father had taught Xingxing that. And to truly learn, you listen first with your ears, and then with your heart, and then with your key. Father had taught her that too. Xingxing understood her key had helped her understand that her beautiful fish mother was dead, and that there was no longer any need for evidence. But what was needed was reverence. So while stepmother and Wei Ping napped in the heat of the afternoon, Xingxing went to the dung heap. She felt no disgust as she sank in both arms up to the elbow. Almost immediately, sharp bones jabbed her fingers. She pulled out the long spine of her beautiful fish mother. The ribs still held to it, firmly. She carried it down to the pool and washed it thoroughly. She separated each bone from the others, and she washed them a second time in her tears. The pile of bones fit neatly into the scoop of her dress. Xingxing carried the bones back home and crawled into the storeroom with the last of Father's pots and bowls. She would keep the bones in the corner. No one else entered this room anyway, so it could become a shrine to her mother. But as she crawled awkwardly across the floor, cradling the bones against her middle, she realized that one of the stones in the floor was loose. Xingxing dug around the stone with her fingers, and when it come up, she tried prying it with a fish rib. Under the stone was a hole, and in the darkness of the storeroom, Xingxing couldn't see what was in the hole, but she could feel. She felt a piece of paper, folded and sealed. It was a letter. Under it she felt silk and feathers and hard little balls on a string. Xingxing moved everything in the hole to one side. She carefully laid in the fish bones, and then she took the letter in her teeth, replaced the stone over the hole, and crawled to the opening of the storeroom. She could hear stepmother talking to Wei Ping in the main cavern, so she hid the letter in the bodice of her dress and came out of the storeroom. "What were you doing in there?" said stepmother. Xingxing looked down at her feet. "Don't go thinking of selling a pot on your own," said stepmother. "That would be theft." "I would never do that," said Xingxing. "It wouldn't take you very far anyway," said stepmother. "However much you could carry wouldn't sell for enough coins to make a dowry." "I don't want a dowry," said Xingxing. "Of course not," said stepmother. She stepped close and whispered in Xingxing's ear. "I forgot. You already had a husband. You were married to your father." Xingxing gasped. "What did you say to her mother?" asked Wei Ping. Stepmother glared at Xingxing. "Why did you go into the storeroom?" "Because I'm sad. The storeroom makes me feel better." "Are you sad because the fish went away?" asked Wei Ping. "Mother told me that you couldn't find her. I am sad about that too, but I am too big to go crawling around in the storeroom. Besides, it's dark in there. Aren't you afraid?" Xingxing shook her head. "When you're sad, you should come sit with me on the kang," said Wei Ping. "We can play the new game Mother bought me, the chess game, and we can talk and cheer each other up." "Well, if the storeroom makes Xingxing feel better, then that's where she should go when she's sad," said stepmother with a sudden change of heart. "I'll keep you company, Wei Ping. I am good at games." She nodded at Xingxing. "Go into the storeroom as often as you like." And with that, stepmother turned her attention to making the evening meal. Xingxing did not get a chance to look at the letter until she went to the pool to fill the water bucket again. Amazingly, the letter was addressed to her. Her mouth went dry. As far as she knew, the only people who had ever gone into that storeroom during Xingxing's lifetime were herself and mother. Father and stepmother were too big, and when Wei Ping was smaller, she was always afraid of it. Mother had put that letter there, and now that Xingxing looked closely at the calligraphy, she knew that Father had been the scribe. She opened the letter and read, "Dear Xingxing, my sparkling one, my darling, If you are reading this, then your father has just died, for he promised to tell you of this letter upon his deathbed. Console yourself, dearest. His spirit is joyful now as it joins me. Your father wrote this letter for me when I realized that I was truly dying. He wrote it so I could talk to you now in this difficult moment. In this hole are my best things, my cloak and my dress, pearls and other things. If you are an adult woman, then these things in the hole are to add to the treasures of your life. If you are still a child, then these things are to be used in whatever way that you need. Ornament yourself, if that makes sense. Sell them, if that makes sense. My spirit will always be with you.